Today let's color these fun luchador toys and turn this page into this one as we experiment a lot with the different techniques to try to get this silver and shiny plastic effect. Let's go. Welcome everybody to another coloring day in the Mexican coloring book with Giggly Goo Art, and I'm Rebecca from Giggly Goo Art, and this is our Mexican coloring book where we've put together a number of traditional Mexican themed pages. That's my cardstock, and just to celebrate the culture of Mexico. There's food items, there's toys, there's just a lot of traditional things that are a reference to the Mexican culture. My husband is a Mexican national. We just did this one, so check out that video if you want to see how we did Frida Kahlo. And our daughter is 2 years old. This one we did also. Check out that video. Also the maracas. And we wanted to create a book that she can do easily, where she can learn to color and not be intimidated, but also learn about her Mexican culture. And so the page that we are going to do today, where is it? Is dun, the Luchadores. These are Mexican wrestlers. If you don't know about Mexican culture, they have very popular Mexican wrestling, I don't know if you would call it a sport, but entertainment, where they wear these masks. And there was a famous movie, I suppose. This is page 40. We can look up our little description reference. All of the pages have an explanation where you can see what they are. So these are popular toys of they're little plastic toys of these luchadores, and these became popular, my husband said anyway, after a movie that depicted a couple of wrestlers. And I pulled up a few reference videos, or not videos. I did a little Google search for inspiration, and these are the guys, I guess, that are the most popular, although there's many figurines. But so I'm gonna try to replicate the colors of these two little guys. So can you see? They are exactly like them. Now, silver, I've never done silver before, so we're gonna see how that goes. I'm gonna try to follow some of this inspiration for the highlighting and the shading, and then here's another one. Maybe I'll use the colors for the skin from this one, and then, or maybe this one, let's see. But this one, because I'm not so sure how to do silver, we're gonna experiment and use this one for the silver inspiration for the shading, and we'll see how it goes. It's all gonna be an experiment together, so you can follow along. You can attempt to do the silver technique like me, or you can choose a different technique. That's also fine. But we're just going to color these pages together. I'm going to flatten out my book so that it doesn't bubble up too much. And let's see. Are we going to start with the silver guy first? Let's start with silver, because this is the one that's the big question mark for me. How are we gonna do this silver? So I'm thinking, we should really start light. And I think we've got a lot of great, this color set has a lot of grays to work with. Light grays, blue grays, cool grays, green grays. I think we'll stick, this has quite a nice range in the cool grays. But they also have maybe this blue green. This is a nice gray right here. It's very light, but for our highlight, maybe we use this one or this one. I mean, they're so similar, but I think I like the blue gray a little bit more. I mean, look at how light you can get with these. You can get really light. So maybe I'll start with the blue gray here and just do an all over. Now I have seen some artists that like to do the dark shading first. I haven't quite tried that yet. I'm not sure if I'm there yet. And I don't know how much we want to blend this, but let's see. Maybe we should pick some of our darker colors while we're at it. So let's see. I'm going to put my iPad here for reference. We're going to pick out the blue, gray 3. That's going to be our lightest color. Then let's go with, I think we're going to, are we going to go all this? No, I think we should just jump to more. I think we should jump to 6 and not use all these colors, but I do think we should start with this lighter one. Somehow, maybe we can start our shading with this one and sort of outline that. And then maybe we'll skip over CG4, I think, and go maybe straight into CG6 with some of the darker. That's going to be kind of risky. Let's see. Let's pull out CG5 just as to have on hand in case we want to try doing some blending there. But I think I'm not sure how much we really want to blend because the lines are fairly defined. And interesting. On this guy, well, some of the paint has rubbed off on his nose, so that's not really supposed to be there, but that whole mask is silver, including around the eyes. But let's see these other ones. These ones have the eyes. I will try to leave the middle part of the eyes. I know it's really, the lines are very small, but just know that if you don't make it within those, if the color bleeds is what I'm saying, don't freak out. There's actually some figures that have it all painted in. So we can try both. Let's try it and then we'll see what happens. We can always make adjustments as we go. Okay. So let's get started with this silver, because this is the one that's going to be the hardest, in my opinion. Okay, now, because we have these nice little sections here, we don't have to do everything all at once. And remember, when you're blending, you want to move fairly quickly and try to blend the colors before they dry. And so I think with this guy, what we're gonna do is, should we start on the head? Let's start on the head and see what happens. This is nice and light. That's gonna be a nice highlight. Actually, I could just use the fine tip for this one. It could be a good idea, actually. Because of these little details or small areas that we're working with. Okay, I'm just gonna go over this. And let's see. Sort of got like a, I'm gonna try to outline this shine on his head and then blend that a little bit. That's a little bit too light, I think, but anyway, we're rolling with it. I think maybe what we'll do now, shall we jump right into this? I'm not ready to jump into CG6. You know, I said I was, but I'm not. Okay, we're gonna outline. This. Giving that some shine. Now, I have seen some people recently mention that when they're blending, they go from dark to light. So, I haven't done that yet, but we are going to try it at some point. Okay, so stay tuned. We're going to start shadowing this side more, I think, because what I'm imagining is light shining down like this, and we're going to give him more shadow on this side of the face. Okay. That turned out all right. Did a little over the line there. We can go over that with some white gel pen to make that stand out, actually, if we want to. That's the other thing. If we make a mistake, we can always go over it with some gel pen, and we'll probably give some highlights on his face with the white gel pen as well. So let's see. I'm gonna use this image here. I think I'm gonna do his pelvis section right now. I'm going to try to follow some of this, keep some of these areas highlighted, and then the shading over here. So this one I can use the brush tip a little more because it's a bigger area. And then I think what we're gonna do is start doing a little bit of the shading for the areas we wanna give a little bit more shadow to. We have some shadows right here, a little bit right here, and then I think we'll do some of the darker here. We can then go over this later with some more harder lines as well. So once we blend this in, I think we'll go over it with some harder lines as well. Okay, we've got that, and then we'll do our darkest shade here. Now I think I'm going to go over and blend a little bit in some of these areas with this G3 over here. I want this to bleed a little bit more into the edges because I want some of that. Maybe it's bleeding a little too much. That's one of the challenges here. Maybe that's why people do the CG5. Maybe that's why people do the darkest first. Maybe it blends a little bit more straight lines. There we go. We can use a fine tip to give it more definition. And we can blend a little bit more later. Give a little more definition on this side, like we said before. And then I think what we'll do is wait for it to dry. I'm going to do a little bit more with this one. Bring it across. There we go. And then I'll blend it up into the top. Okay. Silver is hard, you guys. Silver is hard. Now, I'm going to do an experiment because I was talking about, you know, some creators doing the shadow first. I don't know about it, but let's do an experiment and try on this leg. I think we can see how that goes with the shadow effect. Okay, we'll do the darkest first. I'm going to give it a little line here, all the way down. Maybe another line. And then what we can do is we'll do cool gray over here. Let's try that. And then we'll try doing the lightest one over here. I'm not sure if it makes a huge difference to me. I'm going to just bring this all the way across, then do the reverse. Okay, and then see, we're going to go backwards. We're trying different techniques right now just to see how this silver can potentially play out. I think I like the at least using the fine line markers because you can get a little bit more definition when you're doing this part. That I think is going to give a little bit better shine effect. Let's do, so that was CG5. Let's do CG6 again. just, you know, keeping blending, keeping blending, keeping blending, keeping blending. Okay, let's see. Okay, so all right. Now, for the bottom part of the leg, it's going to be a lot lighter. So we're not going to go all the way to here. Maybe I can put this. Oh, I can show you again. So this bottom part of the leg is a bit lighter, but we do have some dark highlight there, or low light there, sort of middle light there. And yeah, let's maybe focus on the light aspect of it. I'm gonna just go to here so that I can play with it. Interesting. Why is this not coloring in? Oops, I should have used PG3. That's okay. That's okay. CG5. Right. We're gonna do just a little bit of shadow right there. Maybe on the very edge. But most of it is just going to be that highlight section. Then maybe we can go in with some of the detail patterns that they had before. Okay, now do the bottom half. Let's move this up a little bit. I'm using the brush pen to cover the whole foot. And I'm gonna go in with this marker here and outline the foot. It's got some darker. Let's use the CG5 on the top and through the laces. The foot kind of curves around there. And then we have maybe a little bit of shadow right here. But I think most of the shadowing is this sort of middle color that we've got here going. It's looking okay. It's not really. I wonder if there's any way to make it better. I think once this is, I'm going to outline this more. Give that some definition. We're going to make some harder lines now. So we have some of the blended lines. We're making some harder lines now so that it's a bit more defined. Oh, that's my stomach. Sorry, guys. Okay. Starting to look more like a shine, I guess. And maybe go back with the CG5 down on the foot. Give it more of a solid line down the middle of that blending. Also, I want to go back over this and give some harder lines as well. On this side. Should we do right here as well, I think. Give it a little contour. And some CG6 right in the middle. Okay. Now for the knee. I think we're gonna continue this, but there's a little bit of a pattern here. Are we gonna try to do the pattern? Let's at least fill it in with this base color. But I don't think we're gonna blend it. Because if we blend it, then it's not going to get that defined pattern. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, I know the paint has worn off here, but there's a little bit of this pattern that I might try to copy. We're also going to try to put some, I don't know if we're going to try to add to this pattern, but we'll see. Let's at least wait till it dries. Okay, what if we start doing the other leg here? Let's try again the dark to light. Let's put our pens in order again. Take a sip of coffee. We've got our Dia de Muertos coffee mug here that I got in October when they were having Dia de Muertos. It's gotten a lot of love. Alright, let's do this other leg. I think I'm going to try doing the dark to light again and see how that works. It's doing okay. Alright, now I don't want to use the, or do I want to use the brush? No, I don't. Alright, let's go. Yeah, let's start here. Go like this. We're gonna follow this, and then maybe go fade out a little bit. Okay, and maybe we can do a bit of this. Oh no, this is CG6. Sorry, I meant to start with CG6. Oh well. We're doing it a little backwards than what I had planned, but okay. I don't know how I did that. I put my pens in order and everything. I think I might actually grab CG4 and blend a little bit here with. I said I wasn't going to do that, but. Let's put that over here. And then CG3. quite sure about this technique yet. Not quite sure about this technique yet. It's a little... I find that I'm controlling it better when I do light to dark. But maybe that's just because I have not done it enough and I haven't found the techniques. Either way, look. What we can do, it's bleeding out quite a bit. And I think what we just do is just blend a little bit more. Okay. And then I'll wait until it dries and I'll put some harder lines in. This is CG6. So I'm giving some darker shadow. Okay. And then we do have some really more defined shadow on this side, so I'm not really going to blend that. I think I am going to use this CG4 initially, just to give it a little bit of a rounded effect. But I'm going to use a fine tip so that I can really focus on the details. And maybe I won't go CG6, I will do CG5, fine tip on the very edge. I have a feeling we need to go and do some white gel pen on this one to give it really that shine. Although, you know, we're getting some good shine here. I will need to go in and give it some defined highlight here because it's looking, the edge is not very sharp. But that's okay, that's fine. Let's see. Okay, now let's do this foot. Let's do this foot. Okay. Then CG3. We'll give it some shadow on this side. I think. Right, this one is really light. Actually, you know what? I'm going to wait until it dries and give it a little bit more defined color. Let me just do some CG4 on this. Give it a little rounded effect. CG4. I'm going to put these in order again. Okay, we've got 3. BG3, CG3, CG4, CG5, CG6. So I think I'm going to do CG5 fine tip on this side. Just give it a little shadow. And then it does have some defined part. I'm following my picture here, so. And then the foot. A bit more. So, okay. Not entirely sure how we should do this. You know what? For the pattern, maybe we just go in with the white gel pen and do the pattern. We could do that. We could just put in the shadows and go in with the white gel pen. That could be the option also. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to do that because this is gonna be hard to. This is just gonna be too hard to get some really fine lines going here. So let's do CG3 and blend this out a little bit. Fine tip. Okay. Oh, and you know, yeah, we're just going to do that on this side too. We'll just go in with the white gel pen and create the pattern, actually, because the light shining down on it is creating the pattern, and this will be the shadow behind it. That's a great idea, you guys. I'm glad you thought of it. I'm glad you thought of it. Okay, this doesn't really have a lot of shadow on this side. But we do have some here. Actually, I do have some a little bit darker. Keep pulling out the brush. There we go. Actually, I'm going to pull this line all the way through. What I'm finding is the harder the lines, the better the shine looks. So I think the less blending actually might be better in hindsight. You know, if I were to do this over again, I think I would keep 2 harder lines. Okay, I think we've more or less done it. I think I want to add a little more color here. It's just hard with some of these colors. to, I mean, when you're working with shine, sometimes it can be tricky. That's not looking too bad. We could blend it a little differently, but I think anyway, we're going to go in with some highlight gel pen to really make some of the shine stand out. And should we do the blue next? Blue is going to be tricky as well. Or should we do the skin color? I want to do the blue next. I think that's going to be more fun. So let's find an inspiration. Okay, this is kind of a blurry picture, but this is going to be my inspiration for the colors. This one's going to be a little tricky because he's got some white. So we can decide to keep the white or we can do all blue. Actually, you know what? This one has white knees. The other one didn't. So, you know, I guess it depends on which figure you have. Maybe it's all silver, maybe it's not. Anyway, so this guy, let's see. Actually, let's pick out our blues. Okay, so what I want to do, we don't have a whole lot of blues, but I think in this color range, we've got some pretty decent ones. The shine, though, I think this cobalt blue, we definitely will need to use 71 and 69, so let's move these grays aside. We're going to get 71 cobalt blue and 69 is Prussian blue. That's going to be the darkest one. And then let's see, 76, we've got these two over here. These are a little bit more of a blue green, but I think maybe we start with 76. The thing is, the shine on this one is deeper, so we're not getting a lot of the super light blues in the shine. So I think that's okay. For this one, I think we're gonna try more. Let's try some less blending technique in the beginning, and if we don't like it, we can just blend it more. So we'll see how we like that. Okay, it could turn out nicely, it could turn out, you know, interesting, but let's start with his head. We'll start with the lightest color. We're going to go around here with the fine tip. Try not to go into where the white portion is. Looks like the nose is also supposed to be blue, but I don't think I'm going to put the light blue. I think it's just going to be the dark blue for that one. Oops, you know what? I made my own mistake. I need to blend faster. So let's go over this. There we go. There we go. I'm going to wait until that dries and see how we can maybe do more defined lines and then blend later if we want to. So let's see. I don't see a lot of highlights on this section, to be honest. Although we could follow this sort of pattern of highlighting and at least start here. that's our lightest. We're gonna let these dry. I think that one's dry enough. Let's start with the cobalt. You know, this is interesting. Let's see. Oop, no, I do not want to use. I do not want to use that one. Okay, let's at least start on this side where it's darker. What am I gonna do with the shine? I think I'm gonna maybe let's color in this side of the face. Do the nose also. Gotta be careful with the nose. This one has some really thin lines. There we go. Okay. How are we gonna do the shine? Maybe we'll do it sort of like this a little bit again. And then like this. We'll see how that works. We can always go in with some gel pen and do more. We're going to shadow with that even darker color too. Alright, let's follow the same pattern here. We're going to try to outline so that we can get some of that shine over here, some shine here, and then maybe we can sort of etch our way into some definition. I like the etching kind of technique, to be honest. That's sort of my thing. So it's more defined lines, but I think we have more control here. We might end up going back and doing that. That's, or we can blend it. It's unclear. Thinking about it. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you would like that blended a bit more. We're going to leave it like that for now and then see if we go back in and blend it. But let's start with, now I'm going to leave, or I'm going to try to leave these knees white. We'll see how that works. I can manage to do it. And then I guess these little straps over here are white. And then there's these little laces are white too, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to leave those white. We can try it. We may need to go in with the gel pen on that one. Okay, let's do this side as well. Some delicate lines here. saturated ink, so it's bleeding a bit more. Maybe I need to go in and do those details with the fine liner, fine pen side. Let me try it. There we go. That's probably the answer. Now let's see. What if we were to go over the top? I kind of like this sketch etched look. What if we were to go over the top of this with some more of that etched kind of, we can even take an even darker color to do it. We can try with just this one. Oops, oh no. I messed up. That's okay. More defined, more defined, more defined, more defined, more defined. Really get that shine. Get that shine, get that shine. Get that shine, get that shine. And then maybe use CG5 to kind of bring it out here a little more. CG5, CG4. I don't know if it's making a difference, but could be. Anyway, I'm probably just nitpicking at that now. All right, so let's see. What if we were to go in here and so this one has quite a lot of shadow and not a lot of highlight. So I think the only highlight is really going to be right here. At least on this leg. We can put a little right there if we want. But let's try to outline that right here. Okay, and then maybe like this. Using the fine tip so that I can just get these really fine lines. Maybe we'll just do one little. And then this guy has maybe one like this. Then we'll do darker. Do this. And for the feet, we're definitely going to we're going to do most of the foot, this darker color. I went over the lines. I wasn't very careful over there. I was not very careful. All right. Let's now take our darkest blue and start working on this, the darkest shadows here. See if this makes any difference. This is an extremely dark blue. Let's give this nose a little contour as well. Mm-hmm. Just gonna define this a bit more. I do wish we had a little more to blend with, but I'm hesitant to blend such darks with such light. I do want it a little more blended though. So we can experiment on something. What can we experiment on? We can experiment on one of the legs, or we can experiment on let's see, what can we experiment on? The foot, one of the feet, one of the feet. We could experiment on one side of, or the pelvis. Or we can experiment on this little part right there. Let's experiment on that little part. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do it on this lower part. Maybe I want to use the brush tip. Let's experiment with the brush tip and just blend across here. All the way across. See what happens. That's going to break up some of the dark, but let's see what happens there. Starting to bleed it. You can also use colorless blender to try to do it. I've never used this, to be honest. We can try doing something here. Just don't know. Just don't know how that's gonna work. I actually don't like that. I prefer maybe this one, so that we actually have color to blend. But I think it's bleeding a little bit too much. So we'll go back in and, maybe the trick is to just do a light hand Let's try on this side a very light hand on, or maybe we just do it with this brush tip. Like that. Let's see what happens. See what happens. I'm seeing less bleeding over here since I didn't put so much ink. This one's bleeding a lot. Put a lot of ink. Maybe we can do it on the foot as well. See if we can blend some of that. Let's see what happens. It's blending a little better on this side, I will admit. We are losing some of the hard lines, but I think it might be a better situation. We could also go in with sort of the other experiment we could do is go in with something like a 67, which is a little bit more of a transition blue. See what happens there. And just I'm not sure I like that because it's taking away a little bit of the cobalt blue that we've got going on. This one's hard because it's such a stark difference. Well, this one could do something. Let's see. Let's experiment on this foot. Maybe we can blend a little of this cobalt blue. Oop, I don't want to use that. I want to use the fine tip. The thing is, these colors are so dark that you can't really see a lot of mistakes, which is great, but the transition from light to dark is where those things can show up. So that's what I'm facing right now. I think I'm going to go back in and add a little more definition here. This little blending here with the transition color wasn't too bad. We could do that again up here. Let's try that. Let's try that. We can do it also with bringing down some of this color. It's okay. It's okay. It's not the best, but it's okay. Oh, shoot. I picked the wrong color. See? We make mistakes. We make mistakes. That's okay. It could be, let's call it a sort of like another shine. Huh? We're going to leave that. We're going to leave it. We're going to leave it. That's going to be another piece of definition. Then we'll add some white gel pen. We'll just leave it like that. Actually, we're going to leave it like that. Now, let's move on to the skin color. Now I mentioned for this one, I wanted to use maybe this as inspiration for the colors. So let's see, let's look at these colors right here. They're kind of a rich orangey color. I think for the highlights, maybe we start with let's start with 29, which is barely beige. That's this one. And then, wow, some of these are really, 104 is one that we're going to use. That seems obvious to me. Where is that? That's a brown gray. Brown gray. That seems like a good one. Maybe 107. Sand. This is going to be interesting. And then, let's see, for some of these really dark colors, what is it going to be? 21, 103, 96, 101 even. What's 101? Yellow ochre. Not sure about that. Although maybe. Terracotta. Dark yellow. 103 is potato brown. Could do 31. And 103. Let's at least pull those. 31 is dark yellow. That's going to be interesting. And then 103. This is a lot of colors to potentially work with. I'm not sure we need this many colors. So let's see. Let's have a look at these and see if we want to narrow this down. So we've got 29. 107. Dark yellow, potato brown. So let's see. Maybe what we do is we skip this lightest one and we just use the white gel pen for the highlights. And we just use maybe these ones. This will be our base. And these will be like a transition, our main and our shadow. I don't know, I could regret this. But, like everything, it's an experiment. It's an experiment. Alright. So, what we can do, let's do the eye area here. Since this is, we're going to try to do flesh for the eyes. These guys are a little funny looking. Maybe this guy's nose, his mouth, That's pretty light, so I'm glad I didn't go lighter. Okay, now, are we going to try to blend this like we did here, or are we going to try to do more defined shine? That is the question. That is the question. So, I think what we can do with this one is, what we're going to try with this one is maybe put down the base let it dry, and then define. We can define the contours a bit more, and then if we want, we can go over and blend it. I know I said that with the blue, but we didn't go over and blend it. Let's actually try to do it with this one. Oops. We fell. This is our book, the book that we're working with. The Mexican coloring book. Available on Amazon. Link in the description. You know all the things. Also, if you're interested in any of this recording equipment, I have linked that below as well if you want to start doing some of your own content. I've listed all my equipment, microphones, stands, mounts, and so you can take a look at what I'm using. Okay, so that's sand. I like that as a base. I'm going to put this beige away because I think we don't need that. All right. So for this one, where are we going to do the contours? Maybe I will use this same one here. Definitely going to put some contours here on his hand. That. Look how a second layer actually adds quite a lot of definition. So I'm just going over with that same sand color and creating some definition and contours here. This is a technique that you can use when you're starting to layer on the different shadowing techniques. Okay, we're gonna give that some definition. We're gonna do underneath his chin. Okay, so that's not very blended, but I don't want to blend it just yet. I think the definition is something we may want, at least to begin with. And then we can wait till that dries and start adding a bit more contours with this one. I'm going to actually use a fine tip. Now, similar to how we did Frida Kahlo, we can also go in and blend some of this out. I think under his neck is going to be more shadow. And then some shadow here. definition here. Okay. Do a little more there, I guess. Around his body. Okay. That's starting to look quite nice. I actually think we should go in darker with this section. I think the other color was too light. Too light. We're gonna do this side as well, since we really don't have to do much. Just going very lightly, very carefully. The lines are pretty thin here. Sorry about that. It's helping me practice my steady hand. I have a hard time with the patience for that. I have a hard time with that. Okay. What next? Let's see. Do we even want to do this one? Which one is this? 31, dark yellow. Dark yellow is this one. Or do we want to just jump into potato brown? Maybe we just jump into potato brown? I don't know. Dark yellow. Let's do a little test somewhere, like on the hand. Oh, actually, that could be nice. That could be nice. Okay. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Dark yellow. You know, it's funny. This is all turning out to be a better skin color scheme than I expected. I wasn't expecting, you know, some of these really yellowy colors to come out so well, but that's a nice surprise. Now, I haven't decided if we want to blend this yet. I mean, these lines are not that smooth or blended, but if we try to blend it, is it really gonna come out the way I'm envisioning? I'm not sure it will. Okay, right on. And then potato brown is our last. We can do some really more defined stuff like this thumb, for example, or, you know, some of these fingers. Or like right here in this crook of the arm, right here under his chin. doing some really fine little details here. Now, the way this is looking, as I just mentioned, it's not that blended. So the decision will be, do we want to try blending it or not? And do we want to try putting some darker shadow under here? I think maybe. There we go. That's not too bad. Not bad at all. Let's try a different technique for this and see how it turns out, huh? Okay, so, how am I going to do this? Let's try maybe we can try blending it as we go. Do you think we can do that? The surface area is quite big, so I'm worried about it being able to blend fast enough, or not dry fast enough, or drying too fast. Sorry, drying too fast. But if I do similar technique where I then go over the outlines that I want again with this, right? And perhaps I can go in with, oh shoot, what's the next color? Potato brown is, was it 104? 104. Then 31, yes. Okay. 104. How it turns out. It is blending differently now that we have it not waited for this one to dry. Let's go faster so we don't miss out on it. Maybe I can do the brush tip on this side. What's going on with this brush tip? This brush tip looks a little weird. Maybe I need to switch this one out. Okay, and then while that's still going, we use our next color, number 31. Going a little fast because I don't want it to dry too quickly. Well, that's the thing with blending. If you gotta move fast, and if you don't, it's gonna end up looking streaky like the other one. Okay. Do the last one, potato brown. Now we have the luxury of Yeah, we have the luxury of doing this one because we already kind of mapped it out on the other one. That's why we can go fast. But if you haven't, then you kind of, it's easier to make a mistake when you go super fast like this. Mm-hmm. Okay. Some of that came out better, actually. Much more blended if we did it that way. Now, what we can do, let's see if we can blend. Should we try blending this one with this? Let's see what happens, at least over here, if we try to blend this one, huh? Let's try to do it a little bit. Everything's an experiment. Remember that. Everything's an experiment. Don't take life too seriously. Let's see how that one goes. This one we're actually blending after the fact again, so we'll see how that goes. This one we did the blending as we did. Let's take a sip of coffee. Okay, this one's still drying. I think we did okay with that. Now we've got to figure out what to do with this white knee pads. So I think maybe just doing a little shadow with like a CG3. That's it. CG3 we already have out. Let's take the fine tip. Let's do something like this. Right. Give it a little shadow. Little shadow over here. We're gonna add some gel pen over there as well. So that's all we're gonna do. Just a little bit, just to give it some shadow for the white. Okay, what else can we do? That's starting to look okay. It's looking okay. I think I want to add a little more shadow on this hand. Just a little bit. There we go. Maybe a little bit here. A little more here. A little more here under his neck. Maybe this one also. A little more shadow over his neck. All right, 2 different techniques. Again, you can always go over and blend some more if you want to blend more. That's how it goes. Now with this one, I'm wondering, should we try to blend this more? I'm struggling with this to see if we want to do it. I think do we want to do it? 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 Let's try right here. See what happens. Anyway, I think that looks pretty good. I think it's time for gel pen. What do you say? What do you say? All right. So, gel pen. We've got size 10, size 8, size 10. I know one of these size 10s works better than the other. Let's figure out which one. Well, definitely not that one. So, here we go. Yes. Let's get this 8 going as well if I can. Not sure. I left these open so they may need a little kickstart. All right, 10 it is. 10 it is. All right, folks. Let's see. Where are we gonna start? I think for one, I want to start. Let's start on the foot so that until we can get this. Yeah, it's actually going pretty nicely. Yep. Okay. We can highlight this. Here's where we're going to add a little bit of pattern. There we go. That's what I was envisioning. All right. We'll add some highlight here. Maybe bring that around. Smear that also and really get a good white shine if we want to. There, that's actually looking all right. We can do some more over here. Now, do we want to do something similar right here? Let's do it. Okay, and then we can add a little more definition if we want to, like so. Smear it to give it a nice good shine. And we can always go over and add more of the highlight. Let's do this right here. Knees. There we go. Add some shine here. Now, let's see. we gonna do the shine on the head? I think maybe we'll smear a little bit, then we'll add like a clear line. A clear line like this. Yeah. Because these guys are plastic, they're going to have a lot of shiny parts. Okay. We're just going to keep adding a few little highlights here. Maybe I didn't need to add that one. But let's see if we can fill in this luchador. We went over some of this. There we go. Okay. Alright, I think that's starting to look pretty good. Blend that a little more, but I think we did a pretty good job. Yeah, there we go. That's looking pretty good. Nice shiny little, maybe we'll give him a little contour here. Okay. Now let's start on this one. Let's see, where are we going to put this shine? So part of this is correcting some of that blue that bled over the line. So it's pretty saturated. We can do that. I'm not sure if the pattern is going to show up here, but we can try it. The same little pattern like before. We can add, actually, maybe we can add some highlight above this, above this kneecap. Then what I'm going to do is just add this highlight right here. I'm going to add one here and here. Maybe what I'll do is fill this in and then smear it like I did the other one. So then we can make sure that's a really strong highlight. Maybe I need to wait till that dries first. Okay, and then we'll outline this one. That little dried piece came off. There we go. Do some of this blending here as well. And then maybe some shine. Let's see if I can, I want to make sure this is working really well before I do that one. There we go. Over like that. I like it. Then I'm going to give this nose a little shine as well. Okay, now let's do the body. Let's do the body. I'm not sure if I like that line. That's okay. I put it in there because I was trying to copy this guy. Alright, let's follow some of these lines. There we go. All right. Not perfect, but we did it. Here, I'm going to just define this a little bit more. Okay. I think that's it. I think we're done here. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, that was a little off the page. But there we go. There we have it. We've got our Luchadores. These in plastico. These little luchador guys that are fun to color. Fun for kids to play with. Traditional, old school, Mexican toy. And I'm so glad that you had a chance to join me today and do these fun luchadors. I hope that you learned something or tried something new. And if you want me to do a specific page out of this book, let me know. And I will create a video. You can always pick up this book. It's the Mexican Coloring Book by Giggly Goo Art on Amazon. The link will be below for you to pick that up. And join me again for another day of coloring. Bye. Thanks again.